Arionne Curry has finally broken her silence, and the revelations that followed have left fans and viewers completely stunned. For years, the story surrounding her, Martell, and Melody has been oversimplified and presented as a neat, digestible drama for television audiences. Martell, the charming and often polarizing figure, has been at the center of attention for his actions, while Melody was portrayed as the wronged spouse, and Arionne was labeled the other woman who disrupted a seemingly perfect marriage. But the reality, as Arionne now explains, is far more complex than anyone could have imagined. Her side of the story exposes layers of heartbreak, manipulation, and emotional turmoil that were previously hidden, showing a narrative that had been carefully curated and edited for television. She speaks openly about the humiliation she faced while the public painted her as the villain, insisting that the truth was never fully represented. According to her, Melody was not the perfect figure the audience had been led to believe, and many details were intentionally left out of the story to maintain a certain image. This revelation alone caused a stir on social media as fans scrambled to parse facts from fiction, trying to understand who was telling the truth and who had been manipulating the narrative all along. Martell's new relationship only added fuel to the fire, reopening old wounds for Arionne and forcing her to step into the spotlight once again. Her emotions are raw, her frustration palpable, and her words strike a chord with anyone who has felt misunderstood or misrepresented. The timing of Martell's new relationship felt almost strategic to many observers, as if it were another twist in a saga that had already stretched for years. Fans and followers were forced to confront questions about loyalty, honesty, and the ways personal lives are exploited for entertainment. What Arionne emphasizes is that the story viewers have believed for so long is incomplete. There are emotional manipulations, power struggles, and unresolved tensions that existed long before cameras ever arrived. These elements, she explains, created an environment that was far from the glamorous world television had portrayed, showing instead a complex web of relationships, expectations, and conflicting motivations that left everyone involved in a constant state of uncertainty. Martell's live stream following Arionne's statement shifted the narrative yet again. He presented his perspective, revealing details about Melody's alleged emotional manipulations and distancing that fans had never been aware of. He claimed that Melody had contributed to the breakdown of their marriage through constant criticism, subtle manipulation, and emotional disconnection, which had long-term consequences on their family life. Screenshots, messages, and insider accounts began circulating online, providing fragments of what might have truly happened behind closed doors. The public was captivated, trying to make sense of these conflicting narratives while questioning their own assumptions. Every comment, every post, and every leak became a piece of a puzzle that fans desperately tried to assemble. In this environment, it became increasingly difficult to separate truth from performance, and viewers were left with a story that was as fascinating as it was confusing. Arionne's decision to speak out was not just about defending herself, but also about reclaiming the narrative. She explained the emotional toll of being misrepresented publicly, emphasizing that the label of villain had followed her for years, despite her efforts to remain quiet and maintain dignity. By finally sharing her experience, she challenged the public perception that had been built over years of selective storytelling. Her words highlighted the unfairness of judging personal lives based on fragments presented on reality television. She revealed the intense scrutiny she faced, the way her reputation had been tarnished, and the personal sacrifices she had made to protect herself and those around her. This candidness sparked conversations online, with social media users debating not only her role, but the broader implications of how reality shows manipulate stories for entertainment purposes. Martell's revelation about Melody further complicated matters. He shared that during their separation, Melody had engaged in emotional connections with other individuals, not necessarily romantic, but as a coping mechanism. This revelation added ambiguity and provoked heated debates among fans who were already questioning everything they thought they knew. The discussions extended beyond personal judgment to consider the impact of fame, public scrutiny, and the pressures of maintaining a particular image. Everything that had been captured on television had only captured a fraction of the truth, leaving audiences to wonder about the depth of conflict and hidden emotions that had shaped the relationships for years. The public's fascination with this saga intensified as alleged recordings of Melody interacting with her children surfaced online. These clips, while heavily debated, showed moments that some interpreted as detachment or harshness, while others argued they were taken out of context or manipulated. This led to further division among fans, with some supporting Melody's side, some siding with Arionne, and others taking a neutral stance while analyzing every nuance. The controversy grew beyond personal lives, touching on themes of parenting, emotional well-being, and the ethical considerations of sharing private moments in a public forum. Every new post, every screenshot, and every statement contributed to a whirlwind of speculation, highlighting the tension between perception and reality in highly publicized personal matters. The saga also brought legal and ethical questions to the forefront. Experts warned of potential consequences, including privacy violations, defamation claims, and reputational damage. Commentators debated whether the public confrontation could result in custody battles, financial disputes, or long-term consequences for all parties involved. These discussions added another layer of drama, demonstrating how personal conflicts can escalate when exposed to public scrutiny. Fans became armchair analysts, dissecting statements, comparing alleged evidence, and theorizing about hidden agendas. What started as a personal story evolved into a cultural phenomenon, illustrating the complex intersections of love, betrayal, power, and ambition under the relentless gaze of public attention. Arionne's narrative emphasized that she had been seeking clarity, acknowledgement, and justice for years. Her willingness to speak candidly about the emotional pain and manipulation she endured positioned her as more than a participant in a love triangle. She emerged as someone striving to be heard amidst the chaos. Her story reframed her public image, casting her as a figure of resilience rather than a villain, challenging viewers to reconsider long-held assumptions. At the same time, Martell's perspective offered insight into a marriage fraught with hidden tensions, where public appearances had masked long-standing emotional struggles. Melody defended herself against allegations, asserting her actions were misinterpreted and emphasizing the complexity of balancing personal ambition with family responsibilities. Social media played a central role in amplifying the drama. Fans shared screenshots, videos, and posts, dissecting every interaction and statement for hidden meaning. Platforms became virtual courtrooms where supporters and critics debated morality, truth, and responsibility. Every leak, cryptic message, and social media post became a topic of discussion, fueling a cycle of speculation that seemed impossible to contain. Audiences became deeply invested, engaging in heated debates and sharing theories that ranged from the mundane to the scandalous. What started as a personal dispute transformed into a cultural phenomenon, illustrating the extraordinary power of social media in shaping public perception and driving narratives. The saga also highlighted the impact of public scrutiny on personal relationships. Every action, every decision, and every interaction was examined through a magnified lens, leaving little room for privacy or missteps. Emotional strain, misunderstandings, and unresolved conflicts were amplified as they became content for public consumption. The pressure to maintain appearances, manage reputations, and navigate personal emotions in a public space added complexity to an already volatile situation. Arionne's candid revelations, coupled with Martell's admissions, exposed the reality of living under continuous observation and the consequences of a story being told by multiple voices with differing motives. The ongoing debate about who was truly at fault illustrated the challenge of discerning reality from curated narratives. Fans struggle to separate facts from speculation, often forming opinions based on incomplete or misleading information. Each new development reshaped the public's understanding of the events, revealing the intricate layers of emotional, psychological, and social dynamics that have been at play for years. The saga's evolution demonstrated how public perception is not static. It shifts with each revelation, each post, and each statement, making it difficult to assign blame or fully understand the motivations behind actions. This saga also highlighted the emotional toll of being publicly judged. Arionne described the isolation, pain, and frustration that came with being labeled unfairly, while simultaneously attempting to navigate complex personal dynamics. Her perspective revealed the difficulty of expressing truth when every word is scrutinized, dissected, and debated by millions. The emotional impact extended beyond her, affecting Martell, Melody, and their families, demonstrating how public drama can amplify personal struggles in ways that are often overlooked by the audience. The complexity of the situation intensified as more insider information surfaced. Alleged messages, recordings, and first-hand accounts painted a picture of ongoing tension, hidden grievances, and long-term emotional strain. Martell's acknowledgement of Melody's alleged emotional connections, Arionne's emotional breakdown, and Melody's defensive statements combined to create a narrative filled with ambiguity, conflict, and unpredictability. The public was left trying to piece together a coherent understanding of the events,